Oh. Sorry, what do you have to face? We don't need to make it better. Yeah. It's not. It's got no volume. There we go. Whee! Okay, guys, we're standing at the backs of our mats to start with today. Let's go a little bit higher. And I want you to grab your weights and keep your weights in your hand. And stand with your feet underneath your hips. So make sure you take it easy. You don't drop the weights up the way. Yeah. And find your breath. Allow your shoulders to drop down. That music's really loud in there, isn't it? So I want you to take a shoulder roll. Inhaling up and exhaling, rolling the shoulders back and down. And just continue. So use the weights as an opportunity to really pull back through the shoulders. Can't see the tool here. And then I want you to pause and I want you to push your weights back behind you and back towards your hips. So soften your knees, squeeze your butt, squeeze your abs, and just work on mobilizing the shoulders. Or you think about pushing your chest forward as you pull your shoulder blades back and then release. Change my camera angle slightly. Need to be a tiny bit higher. Keep going. We're coming back to there. We're going to drive straight from here. Go different. Lovely. Better. Right, 4 more little squeezes back. Still can't on my head. Last 2. 1 more. Good. Now bring your arms forward, palms facing to your thighs, lower your chin towards your chest, and just feel a little stretch down the top of the neck into the tops of the shoulders. So let your whole kind of upper back slightly stoop. Bend the knees, squeeze your butt to support, suck your belly in, and imagine like a vacuum. You're scooping into the spine and you're rolling down towards the bottom. And once you land on the ground, rest the weights. If you wish, you can stand your weights on top of their feet. You can really tighten your hamstrings. And then we're going to bend and extend, just waking them up. Keep the eye gaze to your kneecaps. Just waking up into the lower back as well. 5 more, little bends and extends. Extensions through those knees. And then pause there, stretch those hamstrings. Drop your chest towards your thighs, go deeper into the stretch. And then grab the weights, give the belly in, roll up. So that vacuum suction back into the spine, creating that flexion. And then we roll the shoulders. Good. Okay, so we're going to work a little bit into the arms. I want you to drop down into the squat. The weights coming down by the sides of your shins or your calves. And as you come up, raise your arms to lateral raise. Drop back down into a little squat. So when you drop down to your squat, lift your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades back, lengthen your spine, sink your bottom down into your heels. And then press back up. You know those little tiny chairs in parents' evening they make you sit on, yeah? Do you remember those? That's what you've got to imagine you're about to sit down into. So you start to drop your bottom a little bit lower, lift up to your shoulders, try not to go higher than your shoulder level. Check out your knees, make sure they're not protruding inwards, but also make sure they're not protruding forwards. So squeeze your butt back a little bit more. So always make sure your hips are lower than your chest. If you're quite mobile in your hips, they'll just naturally kind of drop forward. So just be aware of that. Okay, let's drop down to that squat. Hold your squat. Press those arms back again. So now we're slightly angled. You're about a 45-degree angle forward through the spine. And we're squeezing those shoulder blades, working on those back postural muscles. 5 more. 5, 4. For those thighs warming up. Squeeze your butt. 2 and 1. Lift all the way up. Take your heels just just outside the edges of your mat and turn your toes out. I want you to turn your palm forward. And the other one can just relax down by your side. In fact, tip a little bit wider. Okay, we're going to drop, actually turn both your palms out, sorry. We're going to drop down into the inner thigh, bicep curl down here, back to center. Then the other side, drop down, bicep curl, back to center. I'm going to take my feet a little bit wider because my knees are protruding a little bit too far forward. Okay, so we're waking up the inner thighs, hip flexors. A little bit of bicep curls, so just waking up those arms. If you wish, you can drop down, bicep curl, center, bicep curl, over to the side, one arm bicep curl. So two in the middle and one to the side. So if you can sink and bend that knee a little bit deeper, both sides. One more over to one side, back into the middle. Pause in the middle when you're ready. And then drop down into a plie squat. So have a look at your feet. So I might now just bring my feet a tiny bit closer in. And now my knees are over the ankles, pushing open to those middle toes. Turn your palms in and lift your arms up to rows. Exhale, inhale. Now try and think. Upper body, beautifully extended. Sink the hips, open the knees, work those inner thighs. Relax the shoulders. 5, sink lower. 4, open those knees. 3, 2, last one. And 1, raise the legs up. Turn the feet parallel. And then pull your shoulders back. Lengthen out the spine like a beautiful tabletop position and lower yourself to the floor. Bring your weights down. Take a little stretch in the inner thighs and hamstrings again. So the more you can walk your hands in between your feet, the more you can bow down a little bit lower and wake everything up. And then bend the knees, scoop the belly in, take a little roll up. Once you reach the top, always give you a reset the shoulders with that shoulder roll. Bring your feet back underneath your hips. Take your left leg forward. And so we're going to go into lunge, but we're going to work into the upper body again. Right, so I'm going to bring my weights to here. My head is completely cut off from camera. Now check out your front leg. Your toes very subtly turns out to the corner of your mat. Very subtly. Back leg extended. We're going to drop down and extend the arms up above the head and then bring them back into the shoulders again. Exhale. Inhale. So what we're looking to doing here is beautiful straight spine, bending your legs to 90 degrees. Don't lean forward or lean back, and just extend your elbows as you bring those arms up and bring them back to shoulder level. Last 5. Get full length. This is about extending as high as you can. This is about range. So get those elbows straight, right up to the ears. One more. Now come up to the top, bring your weights down, drop down to a lunge, and pulse the lunge without the arms. See how low you can get, right into that bottom. 8, 7, 6, go lower. 4, 3, 2, and we're coming down. And 1, weights to the floor, drop the back knee. Let the front of the foot just drop onto the mat behind. And we're going to take a breath in, lift the spine, sink the hips. So take your right knee, you look at my right knee, it's way behind me. It's not comfortably sitting underneath my hip, it's right back. And then I'm going to wriggle my left foot slightly forward so my knee is not protruding forward. And then we're going to exhale, swing our bodies back and lower our head and chest down, hamstring stretch. Hold for a breath, and then drop back down into the hips and lift your spine. So I'm using the weights to give me that elevation. push back. You might just want to use your fingers if you're feeling quite flexible today. Forward and length. And I just want you to move between, transition between that hamstring stretch and then hold for a breath. Then as you breathe again, you drop forward and then you hold that one for a breath. So there's a bit of a transition between flexion of the spine on that hamstring stretch and then lengthening the spine on that hip drop. And let's just do 2 more. Last one. Down, reach up. Now put the weights down to the side, hands to the floor, tuck your toe at the back, extend that leg, slide the leg back, and come and hold a plank. Isolated plank, shoulders pulled back, knees slightly soft, kneecaps pulled up towards the hip bones. Use the mirrors if you can, make sure your hips aren't too high or too low. Scoop the belly in and hold, squeeze the butt cheeks. Now, see if you can push the backs of your knees a little bit higher towards the sky, which will elevate you about 1 inch or 2. Just going to hold for another 10 seconds or so. And then as you inhale, lower your knees down and just pull back into a stretch. Into a lovely child's pose. What? Okay. Bring yourself up to your hands and knees. Take your weight in your right hand. Take your knees a bit wide. Take your hand underneath your chest. Abs engaged. Lots of rotations here. We're going to soften the elbow and we're going to swing the arm up to the sky and reach up to that 6 o'clock. Then we're going to inhale, back down, bend your left elbow and swing the right arm under to a hold back. And then go again. Reach. And up. Okay. Lots of bend in your left elbow to allow that reach. Keep speeding up. Reaching through. Okay, 2 more, please. Come on, really, really push that rib cage and turn the waistline up towards the sky. When you've done that last one, bring your weight back down so it's in front of you. Now I'm going to take my weight to 2 weights. I'm going to use a little bit of a heavier weight. So I'm going to hold both weights. So if you want to go up a weight now, do so. You have 2 choices, 2 options. You can stay here with your hips low and on your knees, and we're going to do some rows, tapping down each time, or lift the knees and work the plank. Now, if you're doing it on your knees, please don't have your bottoms up here. This is a plank position. So if you're working here, you want to keep those hips as stable as possible. I'm going to do half and half. So we can do 10 in total. I'm going to start on my knees. When you're ready, row up, tap the weight down for 1. Up, tap down for 2. This is a big muscle. So it can do, you should be on about 7 kilos with this. So make sure you're not dipping your lower backs. Come to your toes if you wish to challenge it. Just don't wobble. Last 3, 2, and 1. Drop the weight down. Put the weight to the side, drop down to your elbows, tuck your toes under, and lift your hips up and stretch through the backs of the legs. At the same time, squeeze the belly to lift your hips high as you melt your chest down towards your toes. Take some nice long deep breaths. Now, look forward towards me. I'm going to slide my toes away. I'm going to roll through my body, dip down to a plank and lift back up. Roll down, lift back up for 2. 10 of these. 3. butterfly. Really fix in those abs, guys. Really use your core. And use that lift as your quick release. Nearly there, 3 more. Last 2. 1 more, and we hold that plank. So lift up, roll it out, hold. Shoulder blades away from the ears. Push into your arms a little bit more. Press through the backs of the legs. Have a look in the mirror. Have you lifted your bottoms too high? And then gently release down to the floor. Just make a little pillow with the hands. Let your body just fall into the ground. So that motion that we started with, we started off holding our weight standing. We pushed our arms behind us. Then we did it at a slight 45-degree angle, pushing our weights. And now we're going to do it fully flat on the ground. It's a tough exercise. You might want to do it without the weights, but as you're also strong and now awake, you should be able to do it. You've got around 2, maybe maximum of 3 kilos. Your palms are facing in, so you've naturally laterally rotated your shoulders, they picked off the floor. Your feet are wide and they're pinned to the ground. We lift the upper body to begin with. Then our weights lift up and squeeze out above our bottoms and drop straight back down to the ground again. So we lift, we squeeze, we drop, and we release. Tough exercise, this one. You okay with those? Mm-hmm. Squeeze those butt cheeks. And also, if you pin your fingers, not your fingers, your toes to the floor and lift your kneecaps up, you're active in the lower body without lifting your legs off the ground. So the whole idea here is we're putting our arms as high as we can and pulling them in as close as we can to get your triceps. It is. Yeah. 2 more. Hold this one up. Let's go. Reach, 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 reach. And release. Turn your head one direction. Bring your hands forward underneath those shoulders. Now, pull your elbows in towards your rib cage. Press your hands into the ground so that when you begin to push into your arms, you're feeling the backs of the arms engaging. Now, push into your kneecaps and lift your bottom. So now I've lifted my pelvis off the ground, my navel's off the ground. Then squeeze the belly and push yourself straight up from the triceps. Go on, go on, Abby, go on, Abby. Inhale, drop down to elbows. Exhale, press back up to the top. Inhale, drop down to elbows. Exhale, press up to the top. Scoop your belly in. I don't want to see bottoms going lower than chest. Go again. And again. Inhale, exhale up. 2 more. Come on, lift that bottom up, lift that bottom up. Last one. And float yourself back to our pose. My triceps have been through the middle this week. And just take a really nice breather for about 20 to 30 seconds whilst I turn that music on. Okay. Now interlace your fingers behind the base of your spine and stretch your arms up and overhead. Stretch out in front of the shoulders. So you have the option to stay here and just work on the stretch, or you can lift your bottom, roll onto the very top of your head and reach the arms up and over. And then release your hands back down to the floor. All fours. Take your weight in your left hand, your right hand is underneath your chest, knees wide, abs on tight. And we're going to lift and reach up and then feed it through. Reach up. Reach up. Breathe. Playing completely the wrong thing. Right, give me another 4, keep it slow. Lots of deep bending into that right arm to allow that freedom. Twist a little bit more. One big one all the way up. And drop it down. Okay, so we're setting ourselves up for that plank. So choose whether you want to be on your knees or on your toes. I'm grabbing both my weights again. Big muscle. Don't underestimate the strength of your body. Okay? It's a big muscle. Drop down into a half plank or fully on your toes. And we're going to row. Let's do this. Up, tap down for 1, 2. So quite a lot of strength is going to go into your right arm. So just be very careful not to hyperextend the arm by lengthening it completely, locking out that elbow. I'm going to do the last 5 in a plank. Who's joining me? Yes. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Drop the knees down, put the weights aside, drop down to your elbows. So your legs are now going to go a little bit wider, right to the edges of the mat, and lift up into that dolphin position, that downward facing dog on your elbows. Squeeze the belly, lift your hips, melt the chest down. Push your heels into the floor, stretch the calves. Slide the toes a few inches further back away from you. And then let's go back into that, drop into the plank and that elevation up. Just with a wider leg this time. Everything is coming from the abs. Come on, inhale down. Exhale up for 7. Straight leg. 8. 9. One more. And then we drop into the plank. Hold. Oh. Strong in those arms. Suck the belly in. Squeeze your butt. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and lower to the floor. Make a pillow. The on demand next week is going to be weights as well. Might be some similar exercises. Okay, we're going to carefully transition to cat stretch. And we're going to flip onto our backs and we'll do some work on our backs. So take a nice little curve of the spine. From that suction, that vacuum, suction I was talking about through the abs to get the spine into a lovely flexion. Here's a chance to use it. So you're sucking in the abs, contracting the muscles in a completely different way, creating that lovely stretch. And then just release very gently into gentle back extension. And then we're going to flip around, come to our backs, bring your weights with you. And then you're going to take your arms up above your shoulders, your legs are straight. We're going to inhale, exhale, lift your chin towards your chest, roll up, stop halfway up, so come up to a curved spine. And then we're going to do a little opening, tapping the weights down, squeezing the thighs together. Five, last one each side. back to the middle, roll it all the way up. Lift your spine up tall and straighten your arms to the ceiling, elbows in. Bend the arms back behind you and extend up for 1. We're only doing 5 triceps overhead. 3, 4, 1 more, and 5. Bring the weights back to the chest, roll it down. Slowly controlled. Lift your arms up towards the sky. Then pull both your legs straight into tabletop and straight up to the ceiling. You can keep your arms here. You do a little reverse crunch, drop one leg, do a reverse crunch, drop the other leg. So the reason why I'm keeping your arms in the air is so you don't use your arms to cheat. But if you need to drop your arms, please do so. I'm just doing a little tiny elevation off the lower back using my transverse abdominals, those lower tummy muscles. Not a big move. I'm going to just drop one leg down. 2 more. And then bend the knees, feet back to the floor, slide your legs straight. Inhale. Exhale, roll up slowly. We stop halfway up, bring the weights in, and then we open. 10, 9. So make sure you've got that vacuum suction thing going on in the abs. Keep your spine strong and secure, supported rather. Can't remember how we've done. One more each side, I think. And then roll it up and lift tall. Use your posture. Extend your arms straight back. And let's do this. Behind. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the weights down. Scoot the belly and roll it down. Hit the ground. Float your arms up above your shoulders. Abs on. Lift the legs tabletop. Then straighten them up. Or you can have a kind of half bend if you wish. And then reverse crunch. 1 leg drop. Reverse crunch. Other leg drop. For 2. Doing 10 in total. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Stay with me. 8, 9, and 10. Put the feet back down to the floor. Slide them straight down. Inhale, chin to chest. Exhale, roll up. Half stop. Let's open out. Three, 4. Squeeze the shoulder blade. 5, 6, 7. Work those obliques. 8, 9. One more. 10. Roll up. Lengthen, lift. Sit tall. Arms dead straight. And then bend behind. 5. Come on, put yourself up tall, guys. Pull the chest forward. 3, 2, 1. Chest. Roll out. Take your arms wide to a T shape. Bend one knee in, followed by the other. Straighten your legs to the sky. Left leg, take it out to the side, circle it around, pull it back in. Right leg, out to the side, circle it, pull it back in. Just be careful not to let the opposite hip follow the moving leg. You can do this with bent knees if you prefer. Drop out, swim kick one leg back in, drop the other one out, swim kick the leg in a circle, pull it back in. So make sure your motion is out and around towards the floor, back through the middle. One more. And go straight to the other direction. So drop one leg down to the floor, out to the side, back up and around to the middle, and then the other side. Down, out for 7, 8, 9, last one, and 10. Bend the knees, pop your feet to the floor. Take your weight above your shoulders, and then I'm going to lift your hips up. Notice, drop your weights on top of your thigh area. Then we're going to lengthen the arms as we lower our bottom towards the floor. So my arms are dead straight, but they don't quite hit the floor. And then I return the arms, I squeeze and lift my hips back up. So you drop your buttocks, they brush the ground, you pull everything back up. So shoulder extension and shoulder flexion, so there's your mobility. And then working into the butts, backs of the thighs. Get lots of squeeze, pull the knees a little bit closer together. We're halfway, give me another 5. Bit more elevation if you can. Last 2. One more. Let's hold our hips up in that bridge. Rest the weights on the thighs. Squeeze up a little bit more. Give me some little pulses, not too fast, like up, down, 8, 7. Knees a little bit closer together. 4, 3, 2, and roll it out. Arms wide to T. Legs back in. Extend the legs back up to the sky. Inhale, open out to a V. Circle around about halfway. Pull the legs in for 1. Open. Spin around. Squeeze them in for 2. 3. Come on. Work into that extension. Let's get extra squeeze into the lower back by scooping in that belly. Big, big circles. Three more. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. One more. Big, big, big circle with those legs. Bring them up to the sky. Bend your knees and pop them over to the right. Once they've landed on the ground, get that weight on top of the thigh and take a full rotational stretch across the lower back, buttocks, hips, and chest and shoulder. Eye gaze to that left hand. And just keep breathing into it, dropping the left side of your ribcage further into the floor. Now release the thigh, open the arm back out. Abs on, raise those knees back up to center. Pop the feet down just for a brief moment. Slightly adjust your hips. Have a look at your body position. Engage your abs, lift the legs back up, straighten the legs. Okay, this time we inhale, drop the legs down, open wide, and pull them back around into the top. Inhale, exhale. 10 of these. Last 4. Last 2, make them wider, make them deeper, use your abs a little bit more. And then lift your legs to the sky, bend your knees, and pop them over to the left. Weight on top of that thigh, and then twist, dropping the right shoulder into the floor, rib cage. And just keep breathing. one more big, big deep breath here. Release the arm. Roll the knees back to center. Bring your weight and pop them down closer towards your feet ends. Roll up. Flip your feet around behind you. Tuck your toes under. Lift your hips. Grab your weight and walk your way back to your feet. Once you're there, bend the knees, scoop the belly in and roll yourself up. Once you reach the top, take a shoulder roll. Step your right leg forward. Straighten out through both your legs. Lengthen out, slight turn out on that front foot. Woo! No balance this side. And then we're going to drop down and we're going to raise those arms again for 1. Back down to here. 2. 3. So did I. That's why we're back here. 4. We'll do our stretch as well. 5. As in the hips and the hamstring. 6. Nice and deep. Come on. Bend both those knees. Stay beautifully upright. Straighten out those elbows. Last 2. 1 more. So come all the way up. Drop your weights down. Drop down into your lunge and pulse for 10. Straight into that front leg. 8, 7. Bring your leg a little bit further forward. 4, 3, 2, and drop down. Drop the knee down at the back. Slide that knee as far back as you can go. So it's way behind me. The front knee sitting above the ankle. It's not. Move the foot forward. Lift and lengthen out through the spine as you sink your hips. Inhale, exhale, push back. Hamstring stretch. Take a breath. And then move forward again. Lift tall through the spine. Not working again. AC.
The
Air conditioning.
there's a post over.
Lift tall, shoulders back, chest elevated. Sink those hips a little bit more. 2 more. So we end sinking down into those hips. Put the weight down. Slide them back a little bit further towards the center of the mat. Fingertips down the floor. Tuck your toes on the back. Lift that knee. Slide your leg back. Hold a plank. Lengthen out through the spine. Squeeze your butt. Back of the knees press towards the ceiling. Should be nice and easy now. Imagine you're just like a floating little bubble, doing nothing, but strong in that core. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then you're going to lift your hips up. And you're going to walk to your feet, grabbing your weight from your waist. Soften the knees, let yourself just hang there. And I want you to pull the weights off the floor so that your whole back is just relaxed and a stretch. If it feels like a strain, then obviously put them back on their feet and just lean into the weights a little bit. Suction belly again to roll the spine. Slowly, slowly, steppy, steppy, steppy. Always reset the shoulders at the top. Turn your palms forward and then a big circle up. Touch the weights at the top. Open them back out. Pull your shoulder blades behind your back as you do so. And then just bow your chin down towards your chest. Let your weights just sit into a heavy weight. Bring your shoulders down. Roll your chin left to right, staying low. And then bring yourself back to center. Lift your chin. Roll the shoulders to reset for the last time. And you are done, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Anything on our feet today with our weights in our hands?
Struggle back to our feet. Yeah.